Welcome back, YouTube. It's your host Bruce GNT, and we are back on your favorite app, TikTok. So a little bit of backstory on this. I saw, I guess, the response video to this current video right now, and I was kind of confused and interested. I was like, okay, what is this about? So I went through and I found this one, and I saw like the first 10-ish seconds, and I saw the comments, and I was like, oh, this looks like it's gonna be a good one. So I might just like clip in the beginning part of the other video that I saw that led me to this one, and then go from there.
I posted a video yesterday talking about how I asked my husband for a divorce 6 months ago. We are still together now. It has over 900,000 views and 10,000 comments. And basically the root of what I was trying to do in that video was explain that we came from that place 6 months ago where I wanted a divorce. We have been working through it, but I still feel like a lot more needs to happen. And I was asking for advice on like what people have done who have been in similar situations, and like asking for advice on how we can get to a better place. At first, when it first started getting a lot of views, the comments were so good, like so good. I have notes. I have a notes app in my phone right now of like all of the advice people were giving. Everyone saying like, oh my gosh, this was us 10 years ago, and now we're in such a better place. Like we finally found that love. Basically, what I was trying to convey is that my husband is perfect. Like, he is perfect, okay, but our relationship is not perfect, okay. And so how do we get like our relationship to be that like passionate, lovey, so in love, obsessed with each other? Which, yes, my husband is perfect in a lot of ways, and perfect is not the right answer, like the right thing to say, but he is such a good person. And of course I'm not going to get on here and air his dirty laundry, or mine for that matter, but like I was more trying to say it's not him that's lacking, it's like our connection and our relationship and what we can do to get that to a better place.
Without further ado, let's jump in.
I don't know if I'm going to actually post this because this is super vulnerable for me and I'm a pretty open person. But earlier this year, I told my husband I wanted a divorce. And this would probably shock a lot of my friends and my family because I hadn't told anybody, okay? I walked myself through the logistics of where would I live, how would we split the time with the kids, who gets the dog, where, all of those things, okay? Had a full breakdown. I feel like I have been searching for something in my relationship that we don't have for the whole time we've been married, which has been 10 years. There is not a single thing about my husband in and of himself that I do not love. Let me be very clear about that. He is the most self-disciplined, loyal, hardworking, good person that you could meet on this planet. And that is probably the reason, why I have not left, okay? Our relationship and what my expectations are for my marriage and what they always have been are not met, right?
So before she continues, I just want to, I guess, digest what she's going over so far, because knowing me, I'm going to forget. I ain't going to front. The first part I want to address, right, is I don't know what it is with people just coming online, telling their business and everything like that. I'm a private person, funny enough, since I'm online, but I'm generally a private person. I don't think it's appropriate to jump online and talk about like certain marital things and everything like that. I don't know, because it seemed like this blew up. This is like, viral now. Me personally, if I was the husband, I don't know how I feel about that. That's his marriage and everything, but it's interesting because these are the very same people, right, that when people start commenting things that are mainly negative about their situation, that are kind of like, confused, like, oh, well, since X, Y, and Z is happening, I got to talk about it. It's like, okay, but you started off talking about your personal life and you put it online. The part that gets me is that you have kids. They're going to see this. And depending on how you conduct yourself and how you speak, this is what they're going to see. They're going to see how seemingly mommy has daddy and they're in a relationship or marriage, and for some strange reason she's just not happy and she contemplates wanting to leave. And to piggyback off of that, this is the part that confuses people, men and women, because you have situations like this where she just listed off why her man is perfect, right? And she has yet to bring up what it is that she's looking for, what she's missing from her marriage, because she keeps saying something. She's saying the direction that her marriage should be in and what the relationship should be this. She's not very specific, and unless she doesn't want to disclose that, which is fair, or she just can't vocalize it, is very troubling, because that tells me that you are going through something, you're feeling something internal, and you can't figure out why you feel this way, but you just think, okay, I got to be out of this relationship. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Because that's something you got to figure out for yourself. That's something you got to see what's going on and think, okay, everything is going right in my life. Why am I contemplating leaving my husband and breaking up my family? Why? There has to be something missing within you, and seemingly you're projecting it out going, okay, well, I have to leave him to get my shit right. And it's like, or you could talk with your husband. I'm pretty sure that she did, but I'm just saying, I'm seeing this, and this is terrifying. You know, I'm seeing this. I'm guessing her husband's name is Ryan. I don't know if she said it in the video, but I see it like in the comments. And it's like, okay, Ryan, you should get your shit together, because she might just leave you. You know what I'm saying? This to me tells me if he slips up in any way, shape, or form, she's gone. Because if you can't even vocalize what it is that's wrong in a relationship that will make you want to leave, what? Wasn't there a video just now about this CEO basically cheating on his wife, and also the wife that the woman he was cheating on was also married? And you coming online talking about how you're contemplating leaving your marriage for some mystical reason that... But there's people out here hustling, struggling to find a decent relationship. And you're contemplating leaving and breaking up a family because you're searching for something that is unidentifiable.
Right, which I don't know if anybody's are. The reason that pushed me to even bring up divorce and talk about it was the fact that I feel like I can't be myself with my husband. And it's really confusing because I'm 32 years old. I am a mom of 3. And I still don't know who I am. So for me to be like, oh, I can't be myself, or you don't love me for who I am, isn't really fair, because I don't know who I am. I'm figuring that out every day. But the reason why I wanted to share this on here
before she gets into sharing this, I recently just did a video, right, with the Obamas, you know, Michelle Obama, her brother, and then Barack Obama, right, where they were basically talking about, like, you know, men and how they had to pretty much course correct where men have been leading to, and kind of steer them away from the manosphere for the most part, right? So if they're ever wondering, if even you're wondering, why is it that men get to that point, why they jump over to the other side, I'm not condoning all of the behavior, I'm just saying, you know, the reason as to why. This right here. Now, I will give her some credit. She is acknowledging the fact that, hey, look, it wouldn't be fair for me to just be like, hey, look, I can't be myself around you because I haven't set the expectation of who I am to say that I'm not myself. You know, and that's why I said it has to be something else going on mentally to where she feels like this and yet she still can't identify it. That's that. Can you imagine that, let's just say she decided to, let's just say she didn't have like the forethought to understand herself to the extent of knowing, you know what, I feel something, I can't really vocalize it, or I feel something, I can't really say why I feel this way. Can you imagine she just ended the marriage just like that? And there are women out there that do that. But can you imagine she just ended it because she wanted to find herself because she doesn't know herself? Let's run that down, right? There's a man that, in her own words, is a good man, good father and everything like that, treats her well, and yet he gets divorced. That man is going to be confused because no one's going to give him the proper answers that he needs to figure out what he did wrong and how he could course correct and maybe get his wife and family back. No one's going to be able to answer that for him because even the person right here doesn't even know. So what's going to happen is that man's going to look for answers. Where's he going to look? He's going to look everywhere. All right. I know men that have gotten divorced. I've seen it happen. It's a very dark and sad thing. He's going to look for answers everywhere. And you know he's going to end up looking? He's going to end up looking in the places where there are repeating rhetoric and things that he can understand and go, you know what? Maybe this could be the reason why. Because you know he's going to hear? He's going to hear, this is why she left you. This is why women X, Y, and Z. And then that's how they get down that manosphere path. And if people are ever wondering how it starts like this. No man really, and I'm not going to say no man, but speaking in generality, right? Men aren't waking up just going, you know what, misogyny, manosphere, red pill. They're not doing that. What's going on is that they're reacting to situations that they're going through in their personal life, right? And they're trying to find answers for it. And then when they go to certain areas and they get told, who cares, you're a man, or oh, you probably did something for why she would leave, which is stuff that I've heard online. This is how it starts. Because let's just say that man got her and that man got divorced, it would crush him. It would crush him because it would literally tell him, I did everything right and it still wasn't enough.
First place is we are coming up on our 10-year anniversary. We're going to Mexico, to Cabo, for our 10-year anniversary trip. And we're rewriting our vows. We never wrote vows in the first place. We didn't have vows when we got married. And I'm struggling to write my vows, like to write a vow. And I think that's because I still feel very unsure in our relationship. The one thing that we finally talked about this past week together, because it's just been something that since we kind of talked about it and I brought it up and we committed to change and we committed to working on our relationship, I started my own business, he quit his job, roles have changed, life has been crazy, and we just haven't come back to talking about this subject. And I brought it up again because I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you, like writing these vows is hard. I don't feel like we're any closer. I don't feel like anything has really changed since I brought this up 6 months ago, 9 months ago, whatever. And I want to work on our relationship. Like at the end of the day, of course, I could get a divorce and try to go find the love that I'm craving with somebody else.
You must not know how the streets are right now. It's rough out here. A mother of 3 and you think you're just going to find the love that you're craving for. Listen here. Look here, man. I'm gonna leave it alone. But to address what she was saying, because yet again, we're not understanding exactly what it is that she wants to change in her relationship. Whether or not she, like I said before, she can't vocalize it because she doesn't truly know, or she just doesn't want to disclose it, which is fine. But can you imagine that? 10 years and you're still unsure in your relationship, in your marriage, excuse me. 10 years. You're struggling to write your vows. Vows which are supposed to embody, the love that you have for that person, the respect you have for that person. Embody exactly, especially since you're, I guess, rewriting vows, but, they didn't write them. It's supposed to encapsulate those past 10 years that you shared life with each other, brought life into this world together, and you're struggling to write your vows. I'm sorry. If I was that man, I'd be insulted. I'd be insulted. Truthfully, I would be. Because you're struggling to write your vows. We've been together for 10 years. And I'm not a bad man, but yet you don't know what the F to write. And I'm not trying to dog on her like too much, but I'm trying to really illustrate like, one, how confusing this is, and two, how asinine it sounds. Really break it down. 10 years together, you're going to where you're going to go to write your vows and everything like that, and you can't think of what to write. You're unsure of the relationship. Things haven't changed, but yet you can't vocalize what they are. That's such a slap in the face. I'm not one to tell people what they should do in their relationship. Honestly, I'm not. Do what you want to do. I don't give a damn. Not affecting my pockets, not affecting my mental, not affecting my health. I don't care. But me personally, I'd be affronted. I truly would be. And like I said before, it seems like there's something going on with her that she needs to figure out. I don't know if it's therapy or whatever. Something needs to be figured out, because it's like, what's the issue? They got chicks out here right now talking about how a dude took them on a third date and had to pay for the third goddamn time. All right. And they had to pick him up from his apartment because his car broke down. And you talking about this man is perfect, but yet you don't want to be with him.
But that's going to come with its own hardships, its own complications, and ones that I'm not willing to take on. Right.
Sorry, not trying to keep pausing it. Pay attention to what people say, how they say it, and what they're not saying through their body language. She kind of indirectly said that, hey, look, I would, go through a whole divorce process, but there's a lot of things I'm not trying to really deal with right now, so I'm not going to deal with all that. In other words, if she had a way to deal with those issues, she'd be out. That's how I'm seeing it. I could be off.
I love Ryan. He is the best father, okay? I just need to learn how to explain what I need from him in our relationship, and he needs to be able to give that, and I need to be doing the same for him, so that we can both, like, in 10 years from now, in the next 10 years, look back and say, like, we put in the work and we finally have the marriage and the relationship that we have always wanted, and that is what I want. I guess the reason why I'm coming on here, and if you've made it this long, that's really nice. What have you done in your relationship to get to that point? If you have
not jump online and talk about it, because if you came online to ask for advice, TikTok of all places, I don't think this is the best place. You need to go get some type of therapy or something, because yet again, she can't truly say what her problem is. She just doesn't feel happy. And if I was her husband, I'm not, but if I was, I would feel unsure myself, because what you're telling me is that I'm doing everything correctly and yet you still feel unsatisfied. So, you know what? Let's get vulgar here for a second. Maybe he not fucking her right. I didn't want to have to say that. I didn't want to. But maybe that's what that is. Because to be, bold and candid, whenever you see certain women, I'm not saying all the time, certain women, acting out in a certain way, right, is because you're not putting it down, all right? Like I said, that's their business. I don't want to know, but I wonder if that's what it is. I wonder if that's what it is. I wonder if he's not putting it down right. If he's not knocking the walls out. I wonder. Because I find it hard to believe that he's doing everything correctly along with beating some walls up and she's still unhappy. Then you need to be medicated. You need to figure your shit out. That's what you need to do. But I'm sitting here thinking about it. I wonder.
Have been in a place where we are and have worked through it and have found things that have brought you closer or that have given you that relationship. Like, I'm just, I guess, asking for advice. Like, what have you done in order to get there and what has worked for you? We're honestly willing to try anything. We have done therapy and counseling before. And it was fine, honestly. It wasn't like my favorite thing, but I'm willing to try that again. And I don't know, books, podcasts, like what have you guys done that has worked for you to get your marriage to where you want it to be? I just don't like thinking, okay, we've been married for 10 years and we've kind of like been at this same point the whole time. I just don't want to look back 10 years from now and not have tried my best to have this like relationship that we both want and that we deserve and that our kids deserve to see in us. So I'm kind of being vulnerable and posting this on here, but I would just like to know, like, what has worked for you and what advice, I guess, you would have for me.
First and foremost, people can't give advice if we don't truly understand and know what it is that's the issue. If we don't know what is it that you're feeling and why you're feeling like this, which in turn would tell him how he should correct himself and or provide for you, what advice do you want? Because I see people talking about advice right here, and based off her other video, it seemed like she wasn't really a fan of it, because I think people were messing with her husband, being like, oh, you should leave her, which I don't condone. No one should be messaging anybody. Put it in her comments, sure, but that's no. But then again, she put it online, so it's really hard to say. Yeah, like, because I'm hearing it. I'm not married, but I give decent common sense advice, and I'm just confused. I'm like, what is it that is the problem? You say he's loyal, self-disciplined, he is a great father, respectful. So what's the issue? Seemingly money isn't a factor either, because what I'm saying, because one thing I've noticed about women is that when they're unsatisfied within their relationship, they have no issue rattling it off and saying exactly why they're unsatisfied and what the issue is. She hasn't vocalized that. So I think he just not beating it up. That's what I think. I could be wrong. I think he's not beating it up. Sorry, I think that's exactly what it is. That has to be it, because I don't know what. Because if he is doing that right and he's hitting all the other wickets, then you're the problem. It's you. You're the issue. There's no other answer for that. I don't get it. Yeah. I don't know. This is scary, because this shows why some men turn out the way that they do. Not condoning their actions when it gets like harmful to those around them and themselves. I'm just saying this is why it happens, because I saw this, I was like, I gotta talk about it. yeah, this is a wild one. But that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment down below, tell me what you think it is. Tell me what you think the problem is. I already gave you my answer. That's what I think it is. You know, that's what I think. You know, do you agree with her for feeling the way that she feels? You don't even know how she feels. That's crazy. Like I said, comment down below, tell me your thoughts, and yeah, subscribe if you want to see more. Peace.